Soo-hyun is a notorious underground operative who specializes in high-stakes covert missions with absolute precision, leaving zero traces behind. But when his adoptive father passes away, his final wish is incredibly simple. He wants Soo-hyun to leave the underworld behind and live a normal life. To fulfill that wish, Soo-hyun decides to wash his hands of the business. But unexpectedly, he receives one last assignment: to handle 6 people on a list. Every time he checks off a name, he will receive a photo, revealing a piece of his true identity. He is forced to complete this list to answer a chilling question. Why did his own biological father once want to get rid of him? Years ago, when Soo-hyun was just a boy, he was suddenly struck by a car while running away, causing him to lose his memory. Soo-hyun then became the target of a plot against his life, and the person who directly ordered it, the one who wanted him gone, was none other than his own father. The hitman hired for this blood contract was Pavel. However, standing before a frail and panicked child, Pavel decided to break the rules of the underworld. He secretly smuggled the boy out of his homeland and took him in as his adoptive son. Living under Pavel's care in a foreign land, Soo-hyun's childhood had no toys or schools. Instead, it was replaced by extremely harsh training to become an assassin. Rule number 1: never reveal the client's identity. Rule number 2: leave no witnesses behind. Rule number 3: you must survive. And today, the very first test Pavel wants Soo-hyun to execute is to deal with a dog. But with his kind nature, Soo-hyun can't do it. Angry, Pavel goes to finish the job himself. He stops him. Instantly, the gun turns on him, because an assassin is not allowed to have feelings. Finally, as a punishment, Pavel ties Soo-hyun to the base of a tree and walks away, ignoring his desperate calls. After a while, Soo-hyun wakes up. He sees the husky standing next to him and realizes the dog had saved him. Looking into the husky's eyes for the first time, he feels the kindness in this world. In the blink of an eye, 17 years have passed. Soo-hyun has grown into a professional assassin. Today he receives an important assignment, so he leaves the house early. He arrives at the mansion of a Moscow mafia boss. While fixing the electricity, Soo-hyun secretly plants a hidden camera. After the job is done, he gets paid and is escorted out of the mansion undetected. Meanwhile, his adoptive father is battling Alzheimer's. When an episode hits, his old assassin instincts take over. He becomes hostile to everyone, even Soo-hyun. Facing his father's attack, Soo-hyun frantically dodges. He yells out his name, trying to remind the old man who he is. But Pavel doesn't recognize him at all. Left with no choice, Soo-hyun is forced to fight back. They keep attacking each other until Soo-hyun points his weapon straight at his father. At the same time, he repeats rule number 1 to him. However, Pavel shows no sign of recognition and keeps attacking. Afraid of hurting his father, Soo-hyun tries to avoid clashes, but eventually he gets stabbed in the shoulder. Soo-hyun struggles to fight back until his father finally lies still. Afterwards, he goes into his room to treat his own wound. While watching the footage from inside the mansion, Pavel comes out. He mentions that Karimov comes from Moscow's Red Mafia gang, but he can't remember his target's name clearly. Soo-hyun advises him to accept his condition and offers to handle it for him. But Pavel absolutely refuses. Before he forgets everything, Pavel hands Soo-hyun a photo, thinking it might be his family. But Soo-hyun insists that Pavel is his real family. Hearing these words, Pavel doesn't know if he has recovered his memory yet, because the person who hired the hitman to take him out was his own father. Only now does Soo-hyun ask why he didn't finish him off back then. Pavel stays silent for a moment, then expresses regret for taking him in. He walks over, stuffs a stack of photos into Pavel's hands, and jokes that it's too late for regrets now because he really likes the scenery in Vladivostok. The next day, Soo-hyun jolts awake. Not seeing his adoptive father anywhere, he immediately drives off. By then, Pavel is already outside the Moscow Mafia boss's mansion to complete his final mission. But when his sniper rifle is aimed right at the mark, Pavel's hands shake. He can't pull the trigger. He has to pause for a few seconds to calm down. By the time he is ready, the target is gone. Pavel is forced to infiltrate the mansion. He quickly takes down an outside guard. Through his sniper rifle, Soo-hyun spots his father inside. With no other choice, he has to act immediately. Using a concealed rope to climb up to the mansion's rooftop, Soo-hyun swoops down and drops a guard with one punch. Meanwhile, Pavel walks right past the target's son, Karimov. Realizing there is an intruder, he immediately sounds the alarm. He attacks with a knife. Pavel dodges in time. Facing Karimov's aggressiveness, he stays calm. He pins down the hand holding the knife. He spins, twists his arm, then kicks him a few times. Karimov's men rush in. They attack Pavel together. Trying to fight back, Pavel doesn't dodge in time. Karimov stabs him. With Pavel in danger, Soo-hyun shows up. He opens fire on them. Pavel pulls his gun. Karimov snatches it, shoots him in the leg. He takes Pavel hostage to fall back quickly. He drags him into a secret room. Then he orders his men to capture the assassin outside alive. Furious, he kicks Pavel continuously. Still angry, he points the gun at him. One of his men puts a knife to Pavel's wrist. With murderous fury in his eyes, Karimov asks who sent him. But even facing death, Pavel won't talk. To save his dad, Soo-hyun sneaks into the air vent. He plants a time bomb. He lies silently, waits for the target to get close. Then he jumps down and takes him out. He forces the man to summon everyone. Holding a walkie-talkie to the man's mouth, Soo-hyun makes him order everyone to gather in the room. Taking the chance, Soo-hyun rushes in to save his dad, but Pavel is hurt too badly. Not wanting to hold Soo-hyun back, he grabs a gun. He intends to end his own life. Soo-hyun can't let his dad do that. He has to get him out alive. Meanwhile, everyone gathers exactly as the boss ordered, but unexpectedly, they find their own boss lying there as a cold corpse. Before Karimov can process it, the time bomb beeps. A massive explosion hits. The whole area bursts into flames. Karimov gets injured in the blast. He is absolutely furious. Soo-hyun struggles to help his dad get out. Only after getting him in the car can he feel relieved. Back home, Soo-hyun tries to treat the wounds, but Pavel knows he's not going to make it. Before passing away, he apologizes to Soo-hyun for turning him into an assassin. He hopes that from now on, Soo-hyun will live like the normal people in the photo. Just as he finishes, he takes his last breath. Soo-hyun can't bear to let his dad go. He's the only family he has left. With his dad gone, Soo-hyun decides to wash his hands of the business. He gives up the assassin path to live a normal life. But life doesn't go as planned. Karimov and his men quickly track down Soo-hyun's house. Right then, he receives a photo sent by a friend. And this photo looks exactly like the one in his hand. Soo-hyun calls to find out why, but first, he has to get out of there. The Red Gang has tracked him down. He spots them through the window. Immediately, he climbs over the wall to escape, not forgetting to call the dog, Gray, to come along. From a distance, Karimov sees him. He is about to open fire, but his men remind him to hold back. At the park, still wondering about the photo he just received, Soo-hyun calls Philip to ask. Philip reveals this photo was sent by a secret client. They want him to handle 6 targets. Every time he finishes a target, he will receive a photo related to his true identity. To uncover his past, Soo-hyun decides to accept this final contract. Months pass. After swiftly dealing with the first 2 targets this time, Soo-hyun's third mark is a famous businessman. Taking advantage of the man hunting in the forest, Soo-hyun flies in from the mountain. He launches a rope at his leg, pulling him off the cliff. Seeing the man is still alive, Soo-hyun coldly takes out a syringe. He injects it into his neck. Just like that, the man takes his last breath. He immediately snaps a picture of the man and sends it off. But since the deceased is the chairman of an international shipping company named Yoo Dae-hun, this attracts a lot of police attention. They suspect he ended his own life because his smuggling operations were exposed. But after going up the mountain to check where he fell, Do Hyun-jin, a homicide detective assigned from headquarters to investigate the case, has her doubts. She suspects this isn't a normal case because the dead man's face is filled with fear. Immediately, Hyun-jin orders the police to investigate Yoo Dae-hun's movements over the past 6 months, along with everyone he contacted. After wrapping up the scene, she heads back to headquarters. On the way, she sees an injured baby deer blocking the road. A man is there, struggling with it. Hyun-jin approaches and offers to help. Since she is a former professional darts player, she quickly throws a syringe with anesthetic, hitting the target perfectly. The deer drops right on the spot. Her skill catches Soo-hyun's special attention. He quickly goes to check the baby deer's wound. Hyun-jin also comes over. She takes a handkerchief to cover the deer's eyes to calm it down, but Soo-hyun immediately takes it off. He says it's fine. Then he puts the baby deer into a cage and carries it away. Seeing Soo-hyun not saying a word leaves her displeased. She comes over to remind him. He could at least say thanks when someone helps. Hearing that, Soo-hyun gives a brief thank you. Suddenly noticing the handkerchief in Hyun-jin's hand is dirty, he takes it. He hands her a business card in case she wants compensation. Hyun-jin takes it. She says she'll call if she needs to. She gets in her car and checks the card. It's a wild animal rescue center, and he is the director of the veterinary clinic, Kim Soo-hyun. However, Hyun-jin doesn't care. She quickly drives away. She returns to headquarters to present Chairman Yu's case. Through examination, they found needle marks with cadoculin on both of the victims' ears. Notably, there's a pattern. 9 years ago, they found a notebook belonging to the deceased reporter Min Hyuk, and everyone listed in it has passed away. First are Police Chief Lee Sang-pil and the head of the fire department, who passed away 16 months ago. Second is Kim Jong-gu, a gang leader who died 13 months ago. Both of those cases yielded no cause. They remain unsolved to this day. And the third person in the notebook is Yoo Dae-hun. After hearing Hyunjin's presentation, a cop assumes she likes watching movies, so she is being unrealistic. If what Hyunjin says is actually true, then this notebook is a death note, and Min-hyuk is the killer. While talking, he mocks her analysis. This angers Hyunjin. She throws a pen straight into his mouth. Everyone thinks he deserved it for his attitude. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun goes to a store to buy a meal. From the outside, he sees a man abusing his wife. At the critical moment, Soo-hyun steps in to stop it in time. The angry man steps closer to Soo-hyun, but looking into his cold eyes, he backs down. The wife hurries inside to prepare his food. Soo-hyun brings the meal home. Just then, Kang Sul-gi arrives. Though only a high schooler, the girl is the young landlady of the building. Soo-hyun's clinic is also rented from her. Seeing the silk handkerchief hanging there, Sul-gi curiously asks about it. He just replies it belongs to a girl. Meanwhile, the victim's autopsy results are out. Her senior cop says they find something big. Right at the injection mark on the victim's skin, there's cadocolin. But in the syringe, they found another substance, cocaine. This proves the needle was reused, and the culprit might be an addict. Just then, a cop comes in to report they found the owner of the credit card from the receipt in the briefcase. The suspect's residence is also near Buckin Mountain. Immediately, the police arrive and arrest the rice shop owner's husband, because he is suspected of being the one who took down Yoo Dae-hun. But back in the interrogation room, judging by his condition, Hyunjin doesn't believe he could pull off such a professional hit. But before she can voice her doubts, her superiors quickly close the case just to smooth things over. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun receives the third clue related to his identity from Philip. It's a photo of a house along with an address. Soo-hyun immediately rides his motorcycle there. Arriving, he opens the door and looks inside. The place looks abandoned. He walks straight inside the house. The place is filled with a creepy vibe, with human statues standing around. But this doesn't scare Soo-hyun. He slowly walks deeper inside, until he sees a statue of a seated man with a missing leg. Next to it is a phone, so he picks it up to check. Inside is a photo of 3 people. Suddenly, Soo-hyun hears a time bomb ticking. With an assassin's reflex, he dashes outside just as the house blows up. Suddenly, his phone rings. The person on the other end warns that if he tries to find the mother and child in this photo, they will die. Soo-hyun wearily returns to the rice shop. Seeing police inside, he walks away. The next day, to investigate the case, Hyunjin goes there to ask about renting a place. But currently, Sul-gi is still at school and isn't back yet, so she meets up with her senior to drink. Here, the senior mentions Min-hyuk's death. He also wants to find the truth. But right now, he feels more worried about Hyunjin. She asserts they just need to find the child from that year, because she is the only witness. Recalling the story from 9 years ago, Hyunjin arrived at the scene, and Min-hyuk was already gone. She breaks down and collapses. Then she suddenly looked over and saw a little girl sitting in a corner with a blank stare. On her head, there was a freshly stitched scar. Later, the police came and took the girl away. And that little girl from back then is exactly Sul-gi, the person Hyunjin is looking for. On her way back, she accidentally hits a cat crossing the street. Hyunjin immediately carries the cat into her car and wraps it in a blanket to keep it warm. Panicking, she doesn't know what to do. She suddenly remembers the business card, so she drives to the address. Frantic, she carries the cat inside and asks Soo-hyun for help. Without a second thought, Soo-hyun rushes the cat into the ER. Hyunjin stands by, overwhelmed with worry. Suddenly, the monitor flatlines. She speaks up, offering to help. Soo-hyun tosses her a pair of gloves, telling her to put them on. The moment she does, he grabs her hands, pulls her in, and guides her through CPR, while he quickly administers an injection to the cat. Seeing no pulse, her panic grows. Soo-hyun steps in to take over the chest compressions. Right then, the cat's heart starts beating again. She thanks him over and over. Spotting her handkerchief, she takes it back. She offers to pay the medical bill, but he refuses, calling it even for her ruined handkerchief. Right there, she asks if he knows what kind of drug cadocolin is. He explains it's a substance used for euthanasia. If overdosed during anesthesia, even if the subject remains conscious, all their muscles paralyze. They can't breathe, ultimately perishing in pure agony. Just then, Sul-gi walks in. Seeing the handkerchief in Hyunjin's hand, she realizes its owner has finally shown up. The next day, Hyunjin rappels down the cliffside. She wants to understand how the culprit felt risking their own life to eliminate a target. While there, her colleague questions the notebook left by reporter Min-hyuk. Could he really have known what would happen 9 years later? Hyunjin herself can't make sense of it either. Afterward, Hyunjin goes to check out a rental unit. Seulgi clearly isn't thrilled, suspecting Soo-hyun might have feelings for her. Even so, since Hyunjin is a paying customer, Seulgi tries her best to play along. Going down to Soo-hyun's office to discuss the lease, Seulgi grows even more irritated by her attitude. But Hyunjin couldn't care less and just walks off. Seulgi turns and scolds Soo-hyun for not backing her up. He figures they're about to be neighbors, so keeping things friendly is the best move. Soon enough, Hyunjin moves into the apartment. Heading to her car, she bumps into Seulgi and offers her a ride to school. Seulgi shoots her down, saying she doesn't get into cars with strangers. So, Hyunjin drives off. At that moment, two men are tailing Seulgi from behind. Seizing the chance when no one is around, they grab her. Soo-hyun happens to spot this. As he slowly approaches, he suddenly hears a voice calling out. Hyunjin grabs 2 cans of water from his bag, telling him to stay behind her to keep safe. Without missing a beat, she steps up and demands they let the girl go, but the guy claims it's a misunderstanding. He says she's his niece who ran away in the middle of the night because she has a crush on that kid. Hyunjin doesn't buy it. She drops the fact that the cops are 5 minutes away, and by then, he better find a solid lawyer to defend his actions. Her warning falls flat, so Hyunjin lets her actions speak. She hurls a can straight ahead, smashing the side mirror. That doesn't scare them off. She launches a second throw, nailing the uncle right in the face, leaving him clutching his face in agony. His thug instantly lunges at Hyunjin. Soo-hyun stands back and watches, right up until he sees her get knocked down. He immediately steps in and takes down one thug. Spotting the remaining one lunging at Hyunjin, he instantly hurls a can straight at his hand, forcing him to drop his blade. Seizing the perfect opening, the detective delivers a swift kick, sending the guy crashing to the ground. Seeing this, the uncle grabs his face and makes a run for it. Soo-hyun steps over to open the car door, letting Seulgi out. Glancing over, he notices Hyunjin's hand is injured. Meanwhile, back home, her mother is throwing a massive fit because she can't reach Hyunjin. From day one, she never wanted her daughter to be a cop. She wanted to mold Hyunjin into a star ballerina. Seeing the chaos, her father steps in, reassuring her that Hyunjin is on her way home. Only then does she finally calm down. The secretary immediately steps up and gives her an injection. Once the madam is in the bedroom, a subordinate comes in to brief the chairman on the cases of Lee Sang-pil, Kim Jong-gu, and Yoo Dae-hun. All 3 of their demises share a common link. But the bizarre part is, they never crossed paths, nor did they share any mutual connections. Chairman Do wonders if Go Hyun-woo, who passed away 19 years ago, somehow came back to life. He orders his men to track down his remains, even if it's just a pile of dry bones. At the precinct, Hyunjin gets word that the dashcam footage from the diner owner's car has lost its data. She immediately tracks down the owner to ask. Flustered, the woman explains it's been ages since she used that car for deliveries. Hyunjin lets it slip that the forensics lab will recover it. Hearing this, the owner looks visibly shaken. Right then, the woman's daughter calls, clearly in distress. Hyunjin has to step out of the diner right after. Soo-hyun walks up with a puzzled look. She explains that the owner's daughter called but then hung up, hoping the woman will finally find her kid this time. Hearing this, Soo-hyun doesn't say a word, takes his lunchbox, and just walks away. She tails him for quite a distance. Feeling like she's stalking him, she jogs up and suggests they walk together. Along the way, he pulls out a water and offers it to her. Hyunjin wants to check on the cat, so she swings by his office. While chatting, Hyunjin gets curious about his dynamic with Seulgi. She knows that because Seulgi inherited a massive fortune, her greedy relatives heavily mistreated her, forcing the kid to move multiple times. She figures he knows the whole story and is stepping up to help the girl. Seulgi accidentally overhears this. She storms out, snapping at Hyunjin, asking who the hell she thinks she is to investigate her. As soon as the words leave her mouth, she immediately takes off. The next day, Hyunjin heads to the precinct to review the photos taken at the diner, recorded by the dashcam. It proves that 4 hours before Yoo Dae-hun was eliminated, Kim Jong-sik was at the diner but was never seen leaving. Therefore, he was not present at the crime scene at that time. Hyunjin concludes the culprit used Kim Jong-sik's credit card to buy climbing gear, then stole the syringe Jong-sik used to eliminate Yoo Dae-hun. Despite her suspicions, the case has been completely closed. Since Hyunjin is only investigating in secret, she needs more compelling evidence before she can talk to the prosecution. Right then, she starts a meeting with the investigation team regarding Russian crime syndicates. Just at that moment, she gets a call from her father, so Hyunjin immediately drives home. Her mother forces her to wear a tight-fitting dress for an inspection. While checking her weight, it remains normal, but her body fat percentage has gone up, making her mother unhappy. Therefore, starting tomorrow, she will have diet meals delivered to her apartment because she wants her to be flawless at all times. This pressure leaves Hyunjin incredibly exhausted. She recalls how, ever since the day she was adopted, her mother always forced her to master ballet, not caring whether she liked it or not. Her father once mentioned that her mother suffers from hysteria, a type of dissociative disorder. Without her calming medication, it's very difficult for her to control herself. So, he reminded her never to ignore her mother's calls, because the reason she was adopted into this house was to replace their lost child. Exhausted, Hyunjin goes to visit the cat and names it Bomb. When Soo-hyun returns to his hidden room, he receives a message sent from Philip. Knowing someone is impersonating Philip, he calls to ask. Philip confirms it's Karamov. Because of this, he wants Philip to track down his location. The next day, the police are staking out a building. Since Hyunjin hasn't blown her cover yet, she disguises herself to head inside. Posing as a Wi-Fi repair technician, Hyunjin is escorted into a gloomy room. They order her to fix it quickly without asking too many questions. While Hyunjin is inspecting the Wi-Fi, she hears pounding on a door which catches her attention. Just then, a girl bursts out, begging for help. Karimov appears with a cold expression. Hyunjin tries to keep her cool, asking for directions to the roof. But unfortunately, they have already realized she is a cop, so they take her glasses and crush them under their boots, simultaneously calling all the thugs out to deal with her. At the same time, Soo-hyun has already infiltrated the building. A guard spots him and is instantly taken down. Meanwhile, the thugs try to force an injection on Hyunjin, but she puts up a fierce fight. So, one of the thugs slaps Hyunjin straight in the face. With lightning speed, she snatches the syringe and jams it right into him. Instantly, the remaining thugs violently toss her aside. Right at that moment, another thug gets a bottle smashed over his head. Soo-hyun appears, luring them to chase after him. Reaching a spacious room, he charges in and takes them down one by one. By then, the police also storm in, rescuing all the captured victims. Hyunjin holds her weapon and chases after Karimov. Reaching the rooftop, she aims at him, demanding he surrender. Karimov hides his weapon behind his back, but she doesn't notice. In a flash, he aims his weapon, but Soo-hyun charges in out of nowhere, grabbing her to dodge to the side. At the same time, he fires a shot, knocking Karimov's weapon right out of his hand. He instantly uses a rope to escape, and Soo-hyun gives chase. But Hyunjin points her weapon at Soo-hyun, demanding to know who he is and why his face is covered. Suddenly, someone calls out to her, giving him the chance to grab the rope and leap down the building to pursue Karimov. From the rooftop, she watches helplessly. Soo-hyun relentlessly pursues Karimov at all costs. He wants to avenge his adoptive father. Karimov jumps into a vehicle and speeds off. Refusing to back down, Soo-hyun tenaciously chases him until he manages to leap into the moving car. They have both waited 2 years for this encounter. Soo-hyun lunges forward, grabbing Karimov's collar, causing the vehicle to swerve and throwing him back. Not giving up, Soo-hyun continues his assault but is thrown against the door once more. He lunges again, pinning him to the back, takes control of the steering wheel, and hurls Karimov out. But keeping his eyes locked on him, Soo-hyun fails to notice the road ahead. Turning back, he sees someone in the way and frantically swerves, crashing straight into a roadside shop. Afterward, Soo-hyun abandons the vehicle and immediately leaves the scene. At the precinct, while reviewing the car's dashcam footage, they spot someone walking away, but it isn't Karimov. Hyunjin returns home and calls Philip, asking about Karimov's smuggling routes. Suddenly, Philip spots Karimov's men outside, so he hurriedly grabs his backpack to hide it. They smash the door and storm inside just as Philip walks out. A thug instantly grabs him by the collar, threatening him. Right then, Karimov calls, and the thug puts the phone to Philip's ear. Right after, they tie Philip up, threatening him to reveal Soo-hyun's whereabouts. They also find the backpack in his room, filled with stacks of dollars and bank books holding money for Soo-hyun. Left with no choice, Philip is forced to disclose Soo-hyun's current location at Bukin Mountain. Meanwhile, after giving it a lot of thought, Soo-hyun asks Seul-gi to find a way to make Hyunjin move out of the building, offering to cover the lease penalty fee himself. While Hyunjin is still wondering about the masked stranger, constantly asking herself who he could be, her phone suddenly notifies her that today is number 88's birthday. After work, Hyunjin goes to see Soo-hyun, letting him know that the diner owner's daughter has been found. She is holding a birthday cake, inviting him to share it. She explains that today is her childhood friend's birthday, though she lost contact with him a very long time ago. Hyunjin clasps her hands, making a wish on behalf of that friend, then blows out the candles and invites him to eat. She also mentions that her friend was really good at folding paper airplanes. Suddenly, Hyunjin looks outside at the falling rain. She melancholically recalls that the last time she saw him, it was also pouring rain. Hearing these words gives Soo-hyun a strange feeling, as he also loves folding paper airplanes. But right now, he still can't recall any of those memories. The next day, Chairman Do states that if Go Hyunwoo really passed away, there should have been news about it. He recalls the time when Hyunwoo was preparing to resign. He was incredibly worried, fearing that if Hyunwoo leaked their secrets, the company would be in grave danger. However, to Hyunwoo, the children born from the lab were far more important. But since the research logs couldn't be taken out, Hyunwoo was forced to throw them back. But Do Jae-hwan still wouldn't let Hyunwoo go. When Hyunwoo returned home, he discovered his wife and child had been eliminated by intruders. Right then, they also made a move on Hyunwoo. When he regained consciousness, he panicked, finding himself surrounded by a blazing fire. Despite his injuries, Hyunwoo struggled to escape. Completely unsuspecting of his best friend, he called him for help. Jae-hwan told him to wait for him at the villa, but as soon as he hung up, he unleashed his fury on his men upon learning Hyunwoo was still alive. To make up for the failure, his subordinate promised to handle it immediately. Back to the present, even if Hyunwoo is still alive, the law won't let him off the hook for the crime of setting his own house on fire, harming his family, and fleeing. Chairman Do wonders, if Hyunwoo is back for revenge, why choose now? Where has he been hiding for the past 19 years? Chairman Do tosses a file containing photos of the 3 deceased victims, all of whom are linked to Go Hyunwoo's case. First is Lee Sang-pil, the man who framed Hyunwoo for the arson. Next is Kim Jong-gu, the actual arsonist from that year. And the final photo is of Yoo Dae-hoon, Hyunwoo's senior, and a witness to the incident. This is no mere coincidence. If his guess is right, both Chairman Do and Director Ju are currently in grave danger. However, Chairman Do confidently declares that the one truly in danger is Go Hyunwoo for having the audacity to challenge him. In the interrogation room, Hyunjin is questioning Karimov's 2 thugs, completely unaware that her mother has gone to see Soo-hyun. She hands him a business card along with an envelope, asking him to keep an eye on when Hyunjin leaves or returns and who she meets, then report back to her. But Soo-hyun flat out refuses this bizarre request. That night, Hyunjin returns home to find an abundance of flowers and supplies, with the fridge fully stocked, letting her know her mother had been there. Right then, her mother calls. Faced with this overwhelming control disguised as care, Hyunjin's expression is filled with distress. She quickly rushes down to see Soo-hyun, apologizing on her mother's behalf, but Soo-hyun brushes it off, focusing instead on the scratch on her face. He takes out some ointment and gently treats her wound. Just then, Soo-hyun spots Karimov lurking outside, making him tense up. He isn't worried about himself, but rather the safety of those around him. Since Hyunjin is a detective who always carries a weapon for self-defense, she isn't his main concern. Solji is the one he worries about the most. Therefore, Soo-hyun immediately heads to the school to pick Solji up and brings her home. He gives her a whistle to blow whenever she is in danger, reminding her to stay put inside the house. After that, he returns to the room, focusing on monitoring the buildings through the cameras. But SEOG doesn't realize the gravity of the situation. She constantly blows the whistle to call Soo-hyun up, even though she isn't in any danger. This truly makes him angry, reminding Seul-ji not to treat this as a joke and to be careful. However, she remains indifferent to his warning and continues to blow the whistle. Unexpectedly, the person who appears this time is Karimov. Seul-ji instantly runs into the room, but isn't fast enough. She tries to blow the whistle, but is violently grabbed by the collar and pulled up by Karimov. Seul-gi bites hard into his hand, causing him pain as he forcefully shoves her to the floor. Karimov angrily grabs her collar to drag her away just as Soo-hyun appears to intervene. Karimov draws his weapon, but Soo-hyun flies in with a kick, sending the gun flying. The two engage in hand-to-hand combat, but Karimov is no match for Soo-hyun, continuously getting thrown to the ground. Karimov immediately retrieves his weapon and fires at Soo-hyun, but he dodges in time. With an assassin's reflexes, Soo-hyun draws a knife and hurls it straight at him, then strikes with a lightning-fast kick. Refusing to back down, Karimov pulls the knife from the wall to attack him. Soo-hyun grabs Karimov's hand, planting a tracking device on him, while simultaneously twisting his arm behind his back. He seizes the knife, delivers a strike, and shoves him away. Karimov glances over, sees Sulgi holding her head in fear, and tries to lunge at her, but is instantly kicked by Soo Hyun. He grabs a vase, smashes it, and takes the opportunity to flee. But Soo Hyun doesn't chase after him because he already planted the device on him. He goes over to Seul-gi to calm her down. Looking at Soo Hyun in front of her, Seul-gi visualizes the masked hitman from before. When Seul-gi wakes up in the hospital, she asks Soo Hyun who that man was, because he reminded her of the past, but Soo Hyun simply and gently advises her to sleep a little more. After that, he tracks Karimov via his phone. Following the locator on him, Soo Hyun immediately speeds off on his motorcycle. At the same time, Hyun Jin and her squad are also heading to Karimov's location, guided by his subordinate. Unexpectedly, when the police arrive and open the doors, they find no one there. Hyun Jin is about to order a retreat when she suddenly hears a strange noise nearby. She orders the doors to be breached and is stunned to find numerous people locked up inside. Quickly, all of them are rescued and brought out. Meanwhile, Soo Hyun follows Karimov's tracker onto a ship. Spotting Karimov from a distance, Soo Hyun swiftly appears, aiming his barrel straight at him. Karimov backs away while trying to persuade Soo Hyun to calm down. But when he draws his weapon, Soo Hyun fires a round into his hand. Karimov knows Soo Hyun is a hitman who won't spare anyone, so he tries to trade his life by revealing Soo Hyun's past. But Soo Hyun coldly fires another round into his leg for daring to touch Seul-gi. Suddenly, a thug from behind loops a wire around Soo Hyun and pulls. The two begin to struggle. Karimov instantly draws a knife and lunges to stab Soo Hyun, but ends up striking his own subordinate. Driven to a corner, Karimov continues to bring up Soo Hyun's mysterious identity. However, he can investigate that on his own. But for daring to harm Seul-gi, Karimov must face his demise. A single shot rings out, ending the life of the notorious mafia boss. At home, looking at her grandfather's photo, Seul-gi remembers everything. Years ago, during one of Pavel's missions, a very young Seul-gi was forced to witness her grandfather being eliminated. Hyunwoo appeared, hugging the little girl to comfort her. Returning home, Pavel was restless because a witness had surfaced. Therefore, he and Soo Hyun set out to take out Hyunwoo. Once again, Seul-gi witnessed the entire ordeal. Pavel wanted to eliminate Seul-gi as well, but Soo Hyun stepped in to stop him because the little girl was simply too young. After Pavel left, Soo Hyun walked over to her side. Recalling all of this, Seul-gi faintly realizes that Soo Hyun is the very hitman from years ago. But knowing that revealing this truth would leave her completely alone, she can only choke back her tears and apologize to her grandfather. The next day, the police discover Karimov's body on the ship. Hyun Jin swiftly arrives at the scene to assess the situation. At that moment, Seul-gi is about to call Hyun Jin when Soo Hyun suddenly walks in. She hastily shoves the phone into her pocket without hanging up. Unintentionally, on the other end of the line, Hyun Jin overhears their conversation. Seul-gi states she wants plastic surgery to remove the scar on her forehead as a way to erase all the memories in her head. Hearing those bizarre words, Hyun Jin grows suspicious. She calls a colleague, asking them to look into Seul-gi's connections. While Soo Hyun is in his room, he detects an intruder. He instantly cuts the lights, subdues the man, and demands to know who he is. Hearing it's Philip, Soo Hyun drops his guard. Philip starts whining about getting caught and beaten by the mafia thugs. Soo Hyun realizes they had tracked Philip down, but Philip conceals the fact that he was the one who leaked Soo Hyun's location. That night, Chairman Do shares drinks with Assemblyman Seo. During their meeting, the Assemblyman questions him about the Hansel orphanage. Even though it has been closed for years, where did children like number 88 go? And is it true that Hyunwoo is still alive? Hearing this, Chairman Do gets visibly annoyed. Knowing full well the Assemblyman just wants to squeeze him for more campaign funds, he promises to think it over. Later that night, Director Lee heads to Hyunwoo's burial site, frantically digging up the dirt. Years ago, he had his men dig a hole to bury a suitcase containing Hyunwoo's remains. Plagued by suspicion, he wants to dig it up to verify it today. To his shock, upon opening the suitcase, there is only a mannequin inside. Suddenly, he receives a photo of Go Hyunwoo standing on a ship, leaving him terrified. At the exact same time, Chairman Do receives an identical photo, confirming that Hyunwoo is still alive. An enraged Chairman Do mercilessly beats his subordinate. He even has the man hoisted up high. Just then, Ji-hai walks in and orders her men to lower him down, warning the subordinate on the chairman's behalf to never show his face again. At the precinct, Hyun-jin is called in to meet prosecutor Yoon Jong-woo. He informs her that, due to a lack of evidence, Kim Jong-sik will not be convicted of the hit. However, his illicit substance charges will still land him in prison. Hyun-jin stays in her office, working until dawn. She manages to sketch the eyes of the masked man from that encounter, suspecting he must be a highly trained assassin to take out Karamov like that. Ironically, the very hitman they are talking about is currently taking care of stray cats by the street. Watching him, Hyun-jin admires Soo-hyun's kindness, thinking that thanks to him, abandoned animals can find happiness. Afterward, she jogs over and buys out all the vegetables from an old street vendor, helping the elderly woman head home early. When Soo-hyun returns to his place, Philip hands him the photo of the next target to handle. That person is none other than Assemblyman Seo. By simply eliminating him, Soo-hyun will receive the fourth clue linked to his true identity. From that moment, Soo-hyun begins surveilling him from a distance. When it's time to make a move, he disguises himself as an office worker to get close to the mark. However, Assemblyman Seo is constantly surrounded by a massive entourage, making it nearly impossible for Soo-hyun to strike. That night, Soo-hyun visits Assemblyman Seo's house to treat his daughter's cat. Coincidentally, everyone is out for an election rally, leaving the house completely empty. Soo-hyun asks for permission to use the restroom. Seizing the opportunity, he stealthily makes his way up to Assemblyman Seo's office to plant a bugging device. At the same time, he uses a cracking tool to pop the safe and pulls out a file folder. Inside is the roster of the children at the Hansel orphanage. Bizarrely, none of the kids have names. They are simply categorized by different numbers. Soo-hyun flips through the pages, photographing each one. But when he gets to number 88, there is no photo or any information at all. Soo-hyun suspects that he himself is that very child. He heads back home and pulls out the paper airplane to examine it. Written right on it is, "Number 88, thank you for the chocolate, Lee Young-woon." Philip has no idea what this number means. Meanwhile, the police have just unearthed skeletal remains near the Hansel orphanage. Soo-hyun immediately hits the road and heads there. Overcome with emotion, he stands before the desolate ruins of the orphanage for a long time. Soo-hyun silently steps inside. A locker bearing the name Lee Young-eun immediately catches his eye. Instantly, his lost memories come flooding back to this exact place. He faintly realizes he is number 88, and Lee Young-eun was his only friend. At the exact same time, Hyun-jin also returns to this place. She finds the old wall, reminiscing about her past memories with number 88. Pulling out a loose brick, she places a keepsake inside. Hiding in a corner, Soo-hyun witnesses this entire scene. Hearing a strange noise, Hyun-jin flashes her light around to search. Soo-hyun manages to slip away before she approaches. Finding no one, Hyun-jin quickly heads to her car and drives off. Once she is gone, Soo-hyun walks over to the wall. Later, he rides his motorcycle parallel to Hyun-jin's car. He steals a quick glance at her before instantly swerving in another direction. Returning home, Soo-hyun silently stares at the name tag. Philip snatches it, realizing this name is written on the paper airplane. Finding her means uncovering Soo-hyun's past. However, if adopted children change their names, tracking her down will be incredibly difficult. Meanwhile, Hyun-jin arrives home and spots the motorcycle parked beside the building. She meets Sulgi and asks who it belongs to. The girl reveals it's Dr. Kim's, mentioning he just returned from a business trip. Wanting to know where he actually went, Hyun-jin has Sulgi invite him over for dinner. Stepping inside, Soo-hyun spots the paper airplane and opens it up. Seeing number 88 written on it, he pulls out his phone and snaps a picture. From the kitchen, Hyun-jin notices everything. During dinner, Hyun-jin deliberately asks about his business trip destination. Sitting nearby, Philip fakes choking on his food to keep Soo-hyun from answering. Once dinner wraps up, Philip immediately goes online to dig up information on Hyun-jin. He enters the room and informs Soo-hyun that she is the daughter of the FT Sehen conglomerate and a detective in the Major Crimes Special Investigation Unit. Soo-hyun shows Philip the photo, suspecting she is actually Lee Young-eun. Philip feels extremely uneasy about Soo-hyun living in the same building as a cop, urging him to move out. But the time has come for Soo-hyun to face everything. He wants to uncover the truth about who ordered the hit on him. Philip's mission is to track down anyone connected to the Hansel orphanage. That night, through the wiretap, Soo-hyun overhears a dark secret about the orphanage children. Since the day their hands were stained with the fate of the numbered kids, 19 years have passed without a single day of peace. Suddenly, the assemblyman notices his safe is unlocked and lashes out at Tae-soo. Checking inside, nothing is missing, especially the ledger. He figures the safe simply malfunctioned. Soo-hyun immediately calls Philip to look into Seo Won-seok's right-hand man, Park Tae-soo. At the same time, Tae-soo meets with Chairman Do to report the situation. The chairman refuses to destroy the ledger, fearing a copy might still exist. His order for Tae-soo is to hunt down the woman who fled with a child years ago and eliminate her. Just as Tae-soo returns home, Soo-hyun appears. He demands to know why they targeted the children at the Hansel orphanage. Tae-soo stays silent and attacks, but there's no way he can match a top-tier hitman. In just a few moves, Soo-hyun easily takes him down. But looking into Tae-soo's eyes, echoing cries and pleas flood Soo-hyun's mind, breaking his focus. Tae-soo instantly reacts, drawing a knife and pointing it at Soo-hyun, asking if he is number 9, but he claims to have wiped them all out already. He charges at Soo-hyun again, but he dodges in time. Relying on his instincts, Soo-hyun grabs his arm and flips him to the ground. Hearing someone approach, Soo-hyun instantly vanishes from sight. Elsewhere, Yoon Ji-hee, the woman by Chairman Do's side, reports her findings to a man planting flowers. She reveals that number 88 is staying by Kang Seol-gi to protect her. Before his passing, Kim Ho completely forged a new identity for the girl, making her incredibly hard to find. Right now, both Seol-gi and number 88 are living witnesses who can prove what happened 19 years ago. Back then, Do Jae-hwan and Ju Young-hoon's dark ambitions were exposed, forcing the Hansel orphanage to shut down. Eliminating the numbered children became unavoidable. The whereabouts of the nanny who fled with a child have been discovered, and the info will be sent to number 88. Instantly, Philip receives a text with the Hansel orphanage nanny's address and forwards it to Soo-hyun, hoping she knows about number 88. Soo-hyun immediately drives over. At the mere mention of the Hansel orphanage, she panics, runs inside, and locks the door. He easily picks the lock, demanding to know why those children had to perish, but gets no answer. He simply helps her relock the latch. He writes his number down and leaves it on the floor in case she remembers anything. He explains that his memories are gone, and he wants them back, as he seems to be one of those very children. Later, he meets Hyunjin at a cafe, and the two head to a park to talk. Here, Hyunjin brings up the Hansel orphanage, calling the place a living hell. The kids were forced to work grueling hours. Even if they collapsed from exhaustion, no one dared to cry, knowing full well they had all been abandoned. Young-yoon only wished for a quick end, secretly stuffing a paper airplane of hope into a brick wall. Soo-hyun discovered the secret. He took the paper airplane and opened it. Young-eun's desperate words filled him with sorrow. He decided to help the little girl. When Young-eun checked the brick later, she found a piece of candy and the paper airplane inside. The sweet candy brought an uncontrollable smile to her face. Written on the plane were countless words of encouragement from Soo-hyun, signed by number 88. Soo-hyun's encouragement brought Young-eun luck. Shortly after, a wealthy couple adopted her, but their only goal was to replace their deceased daughter. Just like that, Young-eun grew up living as a mere replacement. Back home, Philip urges Soo-hyun to handle the target. Suddenly, a text comes in, and he immediately rushes out. On his way, the nanny calls him. Since she is mute, she cannot speak. Soo-hyun tells her he will ask questions, and she only needs to tap twice for yes. While he is asking, someone breaks in, causing her to frantically tap the phone. Unsure of what is happening, Soo-hyun calls Philip to trace the phone's location. The intruder, terrifying her, is Tae-soo. Following Chairman Do's orders, he came to eliminate her today. By the time Soo-hyun arrives, it's too late. He only finds her phone abandoned in a roadside bush. Meanwhile, Hyunjin receives the background check on Seol-gi. It's crystal clear. Seol-gi is the child from that year. Hyunjin immediately goes to her apartment. She just wants to know what really happened that day. Refusing to relive the horrific past, Seol-gi continuously denies everything. Right then, Soo-hyun walks in, asking what is going on. But Hyunjin doesn't care. She just wants Seol-gi to tell her everything, having waited for this day for 9 years. But the girl absolutely refuses to say a word. She firmly brushes Hyunjin's hand away and retreats to her room. She is about to chase after her, but Soo-hyun speaks up, advising her to give Seol-gi some time. Saddened, she visits the cemetery to see Min-hyuk. A few minutes later, her senior arrives. She reveals she found Kim Ho's granddaughter, coincidentally right on Min-hyuk's birthday. Right now, the girl remembers absolutely nothing. Hearing this, he understands the trauma a child goes through witnessing such a scene. Her pain is no less than theirs. Even knowing Hyunjin has waited 9 exhausting years to meet the girl, he advises her not to force the kid into anything. At that moment, Soo-hyun is also watching from a distance. Waiting until they leave, he steps forward. Staring at the portrait of the man in front of him, he realizes the time has come for the truth to be exposed. He goes to Seulgi's apartment and cooks her a bowl of soup. This reminds Seulgi of the very first time she met Soo-hyun. He also took her out for soup just like this. That was the first time Seulgi ever felt a sense of warmth, prompting her to beg him to take her away. But today, she asks him to leave, just wanting to eat alone. Soo-hyun heads downstairs and bumps into Hyun-jin. She invites him for a beer since she already bought some. Standing on the rooftop, gazing at the city lights below, Hyun-jin feels that moving here was the right decision. Thanks to this, she reunited with the person she desperately wanted to see. Saying that, she hands Soo-hyun a piece of candy. He takes it, but doesn't utter a single word. The next day, to lift Seulgi's spirits, Hyun-jin takes her and Gray the dog out to play. She brings them to the stadium, throwing a frisbee for Gray to fetch. Playing this for the first time, Seulgi feels genuinely happy. Right here, Seulgi asks why Hyun-jin is so determined to uncover the truth behind Min-hyuk's demise. Simply put, she feels guilty. Only by knowing the reason can she finally let him go. Back home, Seulgi pulls a box from under her bed. Inside is a drawing she once made. She recalls the day Min-hyuk came to say goodbye before heading to Seoul. She asked about his girlfriend. Back then, he described her as a beautiful and smart police officer. It turns out that woman is Hyun-jin. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun sets out to execute his mission. He effortlessly infiltrates Assemblyman Seo's location, aiming his weapon straight at him as a threat. He demands to know why they targeted the numbered children at the Hansel orphanage 19 years ago. The man tries to deny it. Soo-hyun instantly plays the audio recording of his own voice. Assemblyman Seo continues to deny it, claiming the voice isn't his. But this isn't what a hitman wants to hear. He prepares to pull the trigger when the study door suddenly opens. Soo-hyun immediately ducks into a nearby closet. The person walking in is the assemblyman's granddaughter. This reminds Soo-hyun of Seulgi and the kind-hearted Hyun-jin, stopping him from making a move. And that marks his very first failure. But Go Hyun-woo won't let Assemblyman Seo off that easily. No matter what, the man must face his end. At the same time, after taking care of the nanny, Chairman Do orders Tae-soo to eliminate Assemblyman Seo. For Tae-soo, this is incredibly easy since he is the Assemblyman's trusted right-hand man. But he betrayed him long ago, secretly serving Chairman Do. That night, Philip receives a warning text for the failed mission, along with a photo of a memorial for a little girl named Do Hyun-jin. Soo-hyun immediately heads there. Looking at the girl's photo in front of him, his lost memories rush back. The name Soo-hyun was actually given to him by Do Hyun-jin, because number 88 wasn't a real name. Seeing he was cold, Hyun-jin gave up her warm blanket for him, simply because she saw Soo-hyun as a little brother and cared for him. She even asked her mother to take a picture of her with Soo-hyun, and that is the exact photo he is holding right now. The girl in the picture passed away a long time ago. Soo-hyun returns home and meets Philip to check the message from the client. From the very beginning, they knew the real Hyun-jin had passed away and Lee Young-eun was adopted to become Do Hyun-jin. If he doesn't carry out this mission, someone else's life will be the price. Philip continues to urge Soo-hyun to finish the job, but he is fully determined to walk away. Right now, he only wants to know if Hyun-jin's mother is still alive, while digging to find out who the client is. And if the client dares to touch them, they will be eliminated too. Stepping outside, Soo-hyun gets a call from Hyun-woo. The man is furious with Soo-hyun's actions, seeing as the target is still breathing. He threatens that if Soo-hyun doesn't make the hit, the people around him will perish. The moment he finishes speaking, Hyun-woo slams on the gas, accelerating straight toward Hyun-jin as she crosses the street. Soo-hyun realizes the danger. He instantly sprints at full speed, tackling Hyun-jin to the side. Before she can even process what happened, he is already gone. Back in his room, Soo-hyun reviews Assemblyman Seo Won-suk's campaign rally schedule. He has decided to carry out this mission. Philip tries to stop him from handling a target in front of such a massive crowd. This is personal. He doesn't want Philip interfering. Right now, Philip's only job is to track down the client's identity. Hyun-jin is also present at the campaign rally. She suspects the culprit's next mark is exactly Seo Won-suk. Her instincts are spot on. Soo-hyun has already brought a precision rifle to the rooftop of a building right across the street. He begins assembling the weapon, locking his sights straight on the mark. Hesitating for a moment, the man's threat echoes in his mind. Choose between eliminating the target or the person beside him. Without another second of hesitation, Soo-hyun fires a round, scoring a direct hit to the target's head. Soo-hyun swiftly leaves the scene. The rally spirals into total chaos as candidate Seo collapses. Hyun-jin simply cannot believe an assemblyman could be taken out in broad daylight. She scans the surroundings. Up on the opposite building, A masked man is moving rapidly. Hyun-jin instantly gives chase. Reaching an alley, she finally catches up to him. Hearing a warning shot, Soo-hyun stops in his tracks, raising both hands following Hyun-jin's command. She slowly approaches Soo-hyun, desperate to know the identity of the man who saved her twice. Hyun-jin orders him to turn around. The moment they face each other, Hyun-jin reaches up, intending to pull down his mask. Unexpectedly, he grabs her armed hand, disarming her in a flash. Not wanting to hurt Hyun-jin, Soo-hyun continuously dodges her barrage of attacks. Waiting for an opening, he snatches the handcuffs from Hyun-jin's pocket, Yaer, and chains her wrists to the steel frame. Just like that, he calmly picks up his briefcase and walks away right in front of her. A while later, her colleagues arrive to unlock the cuffs for her. Returning to the precinct, Hyun-jin logs online to check Soo-hyun's schedule. Discovering he has a surgery in the suburbs today, Hyun-jin immediately hits the road. She arrives just as Soo-hyun finishes the procedure. She demands to know what time he got there today. Soo-hyun doesn't answer himself. Instead, he has the clinic owner reply. Following Soo-hyun's prior request, the owner vouches that he was present before 5 p.m. Hyun-jin's suspicions slowly fade away. She speaks up and apologizes to him. Because this high-profile elimination is particularly severe, headquarters dispatches Prosecutor Yoon to join the joint investigation. At the same time, through his investigation, Director Lee suspects Yoon Ji-hae is the one who sent Hyun-woo's photo. He requests a meeting with Chairman Do to report these suspicions. To atone for his mistake 19 years ago, he begs the chairman for one more chance. After he leaves, Chairman Do makes a call, ordering his staff to send Secretary Yoon's file over to him. Meanwhile, she sits at a cafe waiting for Philip. Suddenly, she spots him being grabbed by several men in black. Right behind them is Soo-hyun. Philip gets roughed up badly for failing to pay off his debts. Soo-hyun steps in. With just a few swift strikes, he takes down all the thugs. He walks over, staring at Philip in utter disappointment, looking completely speechless. Back home, Philip tries to explain, but Soo-hyun couldn't care less. He is only impatient to know what the fourth clue is now that Assemblyman Seo has been dealt with. Suddenly, he receives a photo of Do Hyun-jin. At the precinct, Hyun-jin accidentally spots Tai-soo. She remembers the ruthless man who eliminated targets with an iron bar years ago. She tries to compose herself, but her hands are still trembling. Suddenly, her mother calls, so Hyun-jin quickly steps outside. She reassures herself that she is not Lee Young-yun, but Do Hyun-jin. Her mother's phone rings again. Hyun-jin goes out to meet her. Seeing her daughter looking pale, the mother demands she visit the hospital for a checkup, but Hyun-jin is too busy and has no time for that. For the very first time, she disobeys her mother and walks back inside. From a distance, Soo-hyun observes everything. He drives his car, tailing her from behind. The vehicle leads him to a completely familiar house. Even the doorbell here triggers Soo-hyun's memories of his past. Inside the mansion, they are throwing a party. They celebrate their resounding success in achieving rebirth. It turns out 20 years ago, Chairman Do executed a sinister plan. Through artificial insemination, he cultivated the next generation for the elites. But these children were not born to inherit fortunes. They were created to become biological donors for their parents. Whenever the parents faced critical health issues, these children served as their direct suppliers. Medically, biological material from their own flesh and blood would have a much lower rejection rate. The elites enthusiastically embraced this plan. The artificially inseminated children were gathered at an orphanage named Hansel, and Chairman Do is actually Soo-hyun's father. He was born to serve as a donor for his severely ill older sister, but before the procedure could take place, his sister passed away. At the exact same time, Chairman Do's plan was exposed. He ordered his subordinates to eliminate every single one of them, but they discovered number 88 was missing. Back then, Soo-hyun came and rang the doorbell calling for Young-un. Unfortunately, her mother refused to let her come out. A man appeared, captured Soo-hyun, and locked him up with the others. Before being eliminated, a quick-witted Soo-hyun found a way to escape. Unfortunately, Chairman Do spotted him. Instantly, he gunned the engine, speeding the car straight towards Soo-hyun. Sensing the danger, the boy tried to run as fast as he could, but the vehicle still struck him. Chairman Do then stuffed him into a bag and carried him away. 15 years have passed, and only today does Soo-hyun remember everything. But he still doesn't understand why the children had no names and were only assigned numbers, and why they had to eliminate those kids. Faced with so many unanswered questions, Soo-hyun silently leaves the mansion with a heavy heart. He returns to his clinic and finds Hyun-jin visibly intoxicated. She demands to talk about the Hansel orphanage. Hyunjin asks where he went after that rainy day. Deep in thought, Soo-hyun reveals that since that day, he left the Hansel orphanage and simply grew up as time passed. As for Hyunjin, despite living in luxury, she was never happy. Her adoptive father only saw her as a mere replacement, while her adoptive mother kept her under strict surveillance all day long. The two lonely souls just sit there looking at each other. Even though 19 years have passed, they have always kept beautiful memories of one another. The next day, Soo-hyun asks Philip about the time Pavel found him. Back then, someone hired Pavel to toss a suitcase into the sea, but Pavel saved him and took him in instead. Soo-hyun knows it's time for the client to show their face. Otherwise, the remaining two targets could change at any moment. Hearing the news, an anxious Ji-hae rushes to inform Hyunwoo about Soo-hyun's threat. He knows this is no joke. Years ago, he teamed up with Do Jae-hwan to conduct human cloning, but he regretted it in time and wanted out. Consequently, his entire family was ruthlessly eliminated by Do Jae-hwan's cruel hands. Luckily, he survived and went into hiding for the past 20 years, waiting for a chance at revenge. And the person constantly by his side is Secretary Yoon Ji-hee. Knowing Soo-hyun is a legendary hitman with his origins as number 88, he wants to use him to exact his revenge. It's also to let Soo-hyun know that Do Jae-hwan is the mastermind behind it all. On the police side, Hyunjin accompanies Prosecutor Yoon to Assemblyman Seo's house for the investigation. They discover that Park Tae-soo was his closest confidant, and a ledger recording the children at the Hansel orphanage has gone missing. Prosecutor Yoon suspects that one of the children from that year might have survived and returned for revenge. Hearing this, Hyunjin looks skeptical. Suddenly, she receives a video showing Tae-soo was also near the scene at the time, and it looks like he was throwing something away. The two start searching the area and uncover an eye drop bottle. Upon testing, the bottle contains a toxic component, perfectly matching the lethal substance found in Seo Won-suk's eyes. Hearing this, everyone wonders why Tae-soo would eliminate Assemblyman Seo, considering he had been Seo Won-suk's loyal henchman since their days at the Hansel orphanage. Instantly, Prosecutor Yoon slams an arrest warrant right in front of Tae-soo. Before entering the interrogation room, Hyunjin is still terrified. After composing herself, she walks in and sits directly across from Tae-soo. He calls her by the name Young-eun. Hyunjin immediately snaps back, stating she is Do Hyunjin, the lead detective on the Seo Won-suk case. Hearing this, he lets out a savage laugh, asking if she has any evidence to convict him. Hyunjin instantly pulls out the eye drop bottle he tossed away. It contains a lethal emulsion, and this exact chemical was discovered in the assemblyman's eyes. But after seeing his boss get taken out, he hastily threw it away. Hyunjin's words are dead on. Tae-soo cannot deny it. She demands to know why he made a move on Assemblyman Seo, and if it has anything to do with the ledger of the Hansel orphanage children. She also presses him about a man named Go Hyunwoo. Hearing this, Tae-soo demands a lawyer, but she presses on, slamming down a photo of Go Hyunwoo. Tae-soo speaks up, demanding to call Chairman Do. Suspecting her adoptive father is involved in this, Hyun-jin immediately heads home. Meanwhile, Director Kim brings the investigation on Secretary Yoon to the chairman. He discovered a numbered ankle band in her room, one that was once used at Sehan Hospital, along with all the files on the caretakers at the Hansel orphanage. While they are talking, Hyunjin opens the door, prompting him to excuse himself. The chairman knows Hyunjin came here to ask questions. She inquires about a man named Go Hyunwoo, the former head of biological research at FT Sehan, but he claims he knows nothing beyond what the newspapers have reported. Hyunjin presses on about the Hansel orphanage, pointing out that it was previously registered under Chairman Do's name. But if his name is on it, it means he broke the law. So he dares her to either get a warrant or walk away. With no other choice, Hyunjin stands up and leaves. She drops by her mother's room. The woman warns Hyunjin not to go against her father, because sooner or later, Sehan will be hers. But Hyunjin doesn't care about any of that. She only needs her mother's love. Returning home, she notices Bom refusing to eat or drink. She hurriedly carries the cat downstairs, asking Soo-hyun to take a look. After examining it, Soo-hyun concludes Bom is fine. It's simply suffering from depression. Most of the time, this stems from the person living with it. Hyunjin suddenly realizes she's been so busy with her investigation lately that she hasn't played with the cat. The next day, Chairman Do visits the hospital, asking Director Ju to track down Yoon Sung-hee. Upon checking, they discover that person perished when the Hansel orphanage was demolished. He wonders who Yoon Sung-hee is. Chairman Do reveals she is Secretary Yoon Ji-hae's older sister. Instantly, Chairman Do calls Secretary Yoon to arrange a dinner. Suddenly, he receives a video message. Watching the clip, Chairman Do is completely infuriated. Without paying attention, he accidentally bumps into Soo Hyun. He picks up the dropped phone and apologizes to him, but the chairman is in a massive rush and quickly leaves. Meanwhile, Tae-soo walks free due to a lack of evidence. Right then, Hyun-jin receives a package. Inside is an article detailing the discovery of human remains on a desolate mountain. Suspecting this is the starting point of Seo Won-suk's demise, she immediately orders a background check on the journalist who wrote it. Shortly after, she meets with reporter Young. He is stunned she has the article, because right after it was published, it was taken down, and he was fired from the agency. Ever since then, he hasn't been able to do anything, constantly feeling like someone is tailing him and his family. Since the mountain is near the Hansel orphanage, Hyun-jin is curious if he knows anything about the place. He reveals the director of the Hansel orphanage was none other than Seo Won-suk. The kids living there were forced to do grueling labor, surviving on just a single bowl of porridge a day. He also heard rumors that they were being sold off to hospitals, but with zero evidence, nothing could be done. Just as Hyun-jin returns, she learns her search warrant was denied. Nevertheless, Hyun-jin decides to go rogue. The investigation team immediately heads to the mountain. Everyone splits up, digging into the dirt to see if they can find anything. Unexpectedly, they unearth a body. She orders them to contact the National Forensics Lab. At the same time, Soo-hyun meets with Secretary Yoon. He demands her to confirm if Chairman Do is actually his father. With Chairman Do currently on his way and not wanting her cover blown, she confirms it with Soo-hyun. He is his biological father but never raised him for a single day. He asks why the numbered children had to be eliminated. She instantly sends Soo-hyun a photo of director Ju Young-hoon. If he wants the reason, he needs to dig into why those kids were born in the first place. And that is exactly his fifth target to handle. Noticing Chairman Do approaching, Soo-hyun slips away. The chairman meets Secretary Yoon, probing about her family. Looking Chairman Do in the eyes, she confesses she had an older sister, but she passed away a long time ago. Seeing Secretary Yoon's cold, composed demeanor, he figures he hasn't paid enough attention to her. Right then, he gets a call from Tae-soo. She instantly runs to her car, calling Hyun-woo to report. Hearing they are preparing to move the numbered children, she refuses to just stand by and watch them perish. Hyun-woo urges her to stay calm and not act recklessly. He believes it's time for him to step out of the shadows, but she stops him, telling him to find number 88. Just as she hangs up, someone ambushes her and takes her away. The next day, Chairman Do heads to his car alone when his phone rings. The moment he answers, the voice on the other end calls him father. He demands to know why he tried to eliminate him when he is also his son. But to the chairman, once Hyun-jin passed away, he lost all value. He was simply a mistake. Hearing this, Soo-hyun lets out a bitter laugh, reminding him that he isn't like his father, so he won't make mistakes. The moment the words leave his mouth, he guns the engine, speeding straight toward Chairman Do's car, but swerves away at the last second and drives off. At the precinct, investigators find no connection between the victim and the Hansel orphanage. Instead, they discover a biological trace under the victim's fingernails and await the lab results. Hyun-jin visits the victim's house. She accidentally spots a scrap of paper with Soo-hyun's phone number on it and instantly pockets it. Back home, Soo-hyun accidentally sees a text message demanding Philip report the actions of number 88 and Hyun-jin. Reading this, Soo-hyun realizes Philip sold him out for money, fueling his rage. He never expected his closest ally of so many years to change like this. In a fit of anger, Soo-hyun kicks Philip out of the house. Stepping outside, Soo-hyun bumps into Hyun-jin. She demands to know why he visited Hong Jong-hee's house. He reveals she was a caretaker at the Hansel orphanage. But in Hyun-jin's memories, she recalls absolutely nothing about this woman. He explains that she only raised the numbered children. Desperate for the truth, Soo-hyun tracked her down, but the haunting memories kept her from wanting to see him. That was the exact reason he left his number. Hearing this, Hyun-jin questions why the kids back then were assigned numbers. Sharing the exact same question, Soo-hyun is still actively investigating. Meanwhile, Chairman Do reviews a photo of Secretary Yoon meeting Soo-hyun at a restaurant. This makes Director Ju wonder who the man is. Chairman Do reveals it is number 88. Years ago, when they brought the bag onto the ship and hired a hitman to toss it into the sea, they didn't watch them do it with their own eyes. That's exactly why number 88 has returned for revenge. Director Ju panics, begging Chairman Do to formulate a plan instead of just sitting around waiting to perish. But he has already prepared everything, using Secretary Yoon as bait to lure them out. At the precinct, the investigation hits a dead end. Hyun-jin starts digging to find out who sent her the article. Through security footage, she discovers it was Secretary Yoon, the woman working right beside her father. She immediately calls Director Lee, but he declines the call, texting back that he is in a meeting. But he is absolutely stunned when Hyunjin texts him about the discovered skeletal remains. He instantly calls Chairman Do to report it, but right now, the chairman has another plan. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo fails to reach Secretary Yun. Checking her tracker, he finds her current location, suspecting something has happened to her. He immediately sends the coordinates to Soo-hyun, lying that it's the facility holding the children. Without a shred of doubt, Soo-hyun hits the road. At the same time, Hyun-jin calls the company and is told Secretary Yoon is on a business trip. Suspicious, she contacts the center to track Secretary Yoon's location. That night, Chairman Do personally goes to see Secretary Yoon. He wants to wait and see if Go Hyun-woo or number 88 shows up. Outside, Soo-hyun has already arrived. Hyun-jin also arrives using the phone's GPS. Spotting Soo-hyun's car parked there, she pulls out her phone to call him. Unexpectedly, someone lunges from behind, snatching her phone and restraining her. In the struggle, the phone drops, but the call remains connected. On the other end, Soo-hyun hears Hyun-jin scream and instantly rushes over. Hyun-jin is fighting off two thugs all by herself. Overpowered, she is quickly pinned down by one of them. In the nick of time, Soo-hyun flies in, kicking the guy away and catching Hyun-jin. Seeing her looking so weak in his arms, Soo-hyun's rage boils over. Unarmed, he takes on two men wielding a blade and a baton. But this is child's play for a top-tier hitman like him. After taking down the baton-wielding thug, he turns and intercepts the blade aimed right at him. Using one hand to disorient the attacker, he launches a flying kick, knocking him to the ground. Right then, as he turns back to Hyun-jin, the thug with the blade charges forward. Hyun-jin spots him and throws her arms around Soo-hyun, taking the strike for him. Holding the injured Hyun-jin in his arms, Soo-hyun looks completely shattered. She urges him to call the police and insists he must save Yoon Ji-hee. He instantly pulls out his phone to call the cops. At that moment, a subordinate runs in, warning the chairman that the police are on their way. They immediately throw Secretary Yoon over their shoulder and flee. Because of this, by the time Soo-hyun makes it inside, the place is completely empty. Although Hyun-jin is unhurt, her mother is incredibly anxious. Prosecutor Yoon rushes in to update her on the current situation. Hyun-jin wants to go to the scene, but her mother absolutely forbids it. She has to lie, claiming she will just go home and rest because it's too suffocating here. Thanks to this, Prosecutor Yoon is able to drive Hyun-jin out of the hospital. Arriving at the scene, Hyun-jin accidentally picks up a hairpin dropped by Secretary Yoon. At that time, Soo-hyun enters Hyun-jin's apartment. Looking at the glass board, he sees it written that the prime suspect in the demise of Seo Won-suk is Go Hyun-woo. He goes home and logs online to check this man's background. He is a doctorate holder and an expert in the field of artificial insemination who has vanished. He realizes the nursery owner is actually the mysterious man. Soo-hyun smashes the potted plant he brought over, discovering a bugging device planted inside. At the same time, there is an identical plant in Hyun-jin's room, with a listening device planted in it as well. He immediately grabs his weapon and sets out to confront Hyun-woo. The moment he appears, he fires off warning shots. He demands to know everything related to him and why the numbered children had to perish. But it isn't time for Hyun-woo to reveal this, because he hasn't completed his fifth objective yet. And if he doesn't execute it, the people around Soo-hyun will face the consequences. Just then, Seol-gi speaks up, calling out to him. Seeing Soo-hyun is also here, she asks him about it. He doesn't answer, just grabs Seol-gi's hand to leave, but Seol-gi violently yanks her hand away. She has known the truth about who he is for a long time, but has accepted and forgiven him, as long as he stops being that kind of person. Soo-hyun can only watch in silence as Seol-gi walks away. Returning home, he sees his phone ringing with Hyun-jin's call, but he doesn't answer. However, looking outside, he sees she is already standing at his door. Hyun-jin speaks up, scolding him for not visiting her at the hospital and for ignoring her calls, but just seeing Hyun-jin is safe puts his mind at ease. Afterward, he walks her up to her apartment. Her mother witnesses this entire scene from her car, holding an investigation file on Soo-hyun in her hands. Returning home to her husband, she scolds him for not visiting their daughter at the hospital. The chairman uses a busy meeting as an excuse. She then brings up the little boy who once came to live at their house for a few days years ago. She suspects a child couldn't possibly volunteer as a bone marrow donor, but Chairman Do insists he knows absolutely nothing. That child was brought in by Director Ju. Just then, his phone rings with a call from Hyun-woo. He demands to know why Jae-hwan made such a move on his wife and child. Back then, eliminating him would have been enough. However, Jae-hwan coldly pins all the blame on Hyun-woo. He demands Hyun-woo turn himself in for the crime of arson and harming his own family. Hearing this, Hyun-woo can no longer hold back and screams, cursing him as a heartless monster for treating his friend like that and for eliminating the innocent numbered children. He declares he will bring down the Sehan Corporation that he built. Meanwhile, Chairman Do confidently asserts he will send Hyun-woo and Ji-hae to their graves. The next day, Soo-hyun intends to drive Hyun-jin to work. Unexpectedly, he steps outside to see Prosecutor Yoon waiting. Taking the chance, she introduces Soo-hyun to Prosecutor Yoon. Since Prosecutor Yoon wants to ride with Hyun-jin to discuss the case further, she gets in his car, her eyes still lingering on Soo-hyun with evident regret. On the way, Prosecutor Yoon reveals he will meet the lawyer who interrogated Chairman Do years ago. Upon returning, he hands the acquired file to Hyun-jin to review. According to the whistleblower's testimony from that year, the FT Sehan Bio Company existed through technological surrogacy, using artificial insemination to birth children. But back then, Chairman Do flatly denied it, claiming these children never existed. If this accusation holds true, Hyun-jin's adoptive father is the prime target in the police crosshairs. Prosecutor Yoon also pulls out a photo of Go Hyun-woo. He tells her this is the man who blew the whistle on her adoptive father, a highly respected figure in artificial insemination. But he is currently missing and accused of committing arson and eliminating his own family. The deeper she investigates, the more Hyun-jin realizes her adoptive father is heavily tied to this case. Therefore, she and a colleague intentionally ram their car straight into her adoptive father's vehicle. Hyun-jin acts worried, terrified of getting yelled at if her father finds out. She begs the driver to point them to a repair shop and to keep it a secret. Afterward, she goes inside to meet her father, acting purely as his daughter. Coldly, she asks if he has ever viewed her as his child. Chairman Do coldly replies he hasn't. He hasn't. Hearing this, Hyun-jin truly has nothing left to ask. She thanks him for not opposing her when she joined the police academy. Later, she returns to the precinct to review her adoptive father's dashcam footage, only to discover it has all been wiped clean. Meanwhile, to find hard evidence, Soo-hyun poses as a doctor and infiltrates the Mirai Hospital of the Sehan Corporation. He heads to the VIP ward, a strictly restricted area. Observing for a moment, Soo-hyun plants a camera on the wall where he can easily monitor the area. Then, he calmly walks into the room of an 82-year-old man who just received a heart transplant. He asks him how it feels to use money to buy someone else's life. Terrified, the old man struggles to reach the machine to hit the call button, but no matter how hard he tries, it's out of reach. Seeing this, Soo-hyun helps him press the button and instantly walks away. As he leaves, he brushes past his fifth target, Director Ju. Just as he returns to his clinic, Hyun-jin's mother arrives. She looks around Soo-hyun's place and asks about his relatives. Although he answers that he has no family, his name, Soo-hyun, was given to him by his older sister, who passed away a long time ago. The more she listens, the more she thinks of the little boy who once lived in their house years ago. Just then, spotting Sul-gi outside, she asks her to open the door to Hyun-jin's apartment. That night, Hyun-jin goes to see Soo-hyun. Right at that moment, she receives a video sent by a colleague. Watching Chairman Do's newly restored dashcam footage, she is absolutely stunned to realize the masked hitman is none other than Soo-hyun. She immediately rushes back to her apartment and listens to their conversation. It turns out her father also knew about the existence of number 88. Hyun-jin simply cannot accept this truth. She instantly heads to her car and drives to the precinct. At that moment, Philip is about to leave Sul-gi's place. She chases after him, demanding he return the drawing she made. While the two are arguing, Soo-hyun opens the door, ordering Philip to follow him. Tae-soo observes this entire exchange and calls Chairman Do to report. He orders Tae-soo to initiate the attack. Afterward, he heads to the facility holding Secretary Yoon Ji-hae. This is a secret room used for extracting biological material. She is utterly disgusted by Chairman Do's cruel actions, declaring he will soon pay the price for his sins. However, Chairman Do couldn't care less, because he has the power to spin those sins into acts of charity. Right now, she is of no use to his plan, since neither Go Hyun-woo nor number 88 has shown up. Therefore, to bury this secret, he forces her demise with a lethal dose. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun knows his cover is blown. He needs to end this quickly, because ultimately, after piecing everything together, he finally knows why those children had to perish. Philip goes to meet Hyun-woo, returning all his money. Since Soo-hyun already knows everything, it's time to call it off. But Hyun-woo refuses to accept that. If Soo-hyun doesn't execute the fifth target, the people closest to him will face the consequences. The moment he finishes speaking, Philip receives a photo of Seul-gi. Meanwhile, Hyun-jin gets back from the police station. She looks for Soo-hyun, but can't find him anywhere. Unexpectedly, she discovers a hidden room and steps inside. The place is filled with weaponry for his covert operations, leaving Hyun-jin completely speechless. When Soo-hyun returns and faces Hyun-jin, she demands to know if he was the one who eliminated reporter Min-hyuk 9 years ago. But Soo-hyun simply looks at her without answering. Suddenly, he spots someone outside and shoves Hyun-jin further inside. Right then, he receives a video showing Seul-gi being assaulted. Soo-hyun instantly rushes out. He launches a flying kick, sending Tae-soo crashing down. As Hyun-jin runs out, she runs straight into 2 thugs. Still recovering from her injuries, she is quickly kicked aside. Seeing this, Soo-hyun immediately charges in with a flying kick. He turns back, instructing Hyun-jin to get Seul-gi into the clinic. Single-handedly, he engages all 3 thugs. Realizing they are no match for a legendary hitman like him, they're forced to retreat. Hiding in a corner, Philip watches everything, suspecting they were sent by Hyun-woo. Afterward, Seul-gi is rushed to the hospital. To ensure her safety, Hyun-jin orders her to stay put inside. Just as Hyun-jin reaches her car, she unexpectedly receives a photo of Seul-gi's drawing depicting Min-hyuk's actual assailant. This proves the culprit wasn't Soo-hyun. He was actually the one who saved Seul-gi. Right then, Hyun-jin gets a call reporting they found Secretary Yoon's car, along with her remains. According to the parking lot's security footage, the culprit is Director Lee. Hyun-jin immediately rushes to the scene. At that moment, Hyun-woo also appears but stays hidden in the shadows. An examination reveals the cause of demise was an overdose of propofol. They also find a voice recorder on her, proving she knew she wouldn't survive and prepared it in advance. Playing the recording, hearing her adoptive father's voice shatters Hyun-jin's heart, but she'd already mentally prepared herself for this day. Hyun-jin calls a colleague, asking them to analyze the voice from the audio she sent over. The investigation finally begins to unravel. Almost all the missing pieces have fallen into place. The investigation unit gathers to hear Hyun-jin's briefing. She presents photos of the 4 victims in the serial case, along with the forest where the skeletal remains were found near the Hansel orphanage. 19 years ago, FT Sehan Bio was suspected of using artificial insemination to birth children. From there, they would harvest their biological material to sell to the elites. When Sehan fell under police investigation, Go Hyun-woo was the one who leaked that secret, but he is currently missing. It's highly probable Go Hyun-woo teamed up with a hitman to punish them. Therefore, she concludes the serial case is directly tied to the Hansel orphanage from 19 years ago. When the voice analysis results come back, it's a confirmed match for Chairman Do. However, the hitman behind the serial eliminations remains unidentified. Hearing this, Hyun-jin can no longer hold back her emotions and excuses herself. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun is en route to Mirai Hospital. Through his digging, Philip discovered that all the biological transplant procedures are conducted there. Soo-hyun infiltrates the facility alone. He discovers countless insemination vials, all of them numbered in order. Suddenly hearing someone approach, Soo-hyun steps out. He lies, claiming Chairman Do sent him. He asks if these inseminated eggs are reserved strictly for VIP clients. The man reveals these aren't ordinary eggs. They have to select superior chromosomes and eliminate any carrying diseases. There were even children born with striking blue eyes, but he has no idea where those children are being raised. Soo-hyun returns to the lab. He calls Chairman Do, threatening to give him one last chance. He demands to know the current location of the numbered children, but Chairman Do dismisses the threat entirely. Instantly, Soo-hyun arms a timer device. He assures him he will regret this because time is up. The moment the words leave his mouth, Soo-hyun turns and walks away. The device triggers, engulfing the insemination room in an explosive blast. A furious chairman Do orders Director Ju to be extremely careful and prevent the secret from leaking, while also preparing a plausible cover story. The news immediately hits the media. An explosion occurred on the 15th floor of Sehan's Mirai Hospital. Hearing this, Chairman Do goes ballistic, throwing his glass to the floor in pure rage. Afterward, he pulls out a box and tells Tae-soo to open it. Inside is a firearm meant to take out the numbered kids. But Tae-soo has already dispatched a security team to guard the location, while he stays back to protect the chairman. At that moment, Soo-hyun is tailing the security personnel to track down the children. It is a completely isolated area. Soo-hyun stealthily slips inside, unaware he has already been spotted. The man radios in, reporting they have a guest. He then stands calmly, waiting for Soo-hyun to walk in. The moment Soo-hyun charges forward, the man strikes his shoulder. Soo-hyun instantly shoves him to the ground. He demands to know where the kids are. The man bursts into laughter at Soo-hyun's question. Even though he's a bit late, Soo-hyun definitely found the right place, because this is the absolute final stop for the numbered children. Soo-hyun promises to spare his life if he brings the kids out, but right then, 2 more thugs rush in. Soo-hyun swiftly takes them down. The leader charges again with his blade, aiming straight for Soo-hyun. But ultimately, Soo-hyun shoves him back and lands a critical strike right to his chest. Afterwards, Soo-hyun begins searching for the kids. Spotting a room locked with heavy chains, he walks over and forces the door open. Soo-hyun stands frozen, staring at the pitiful children huddled together in absolute terror. One of the kids speaks up, begging him to save them. At that time, Soo-hyun's clinic is completely cleared out by the police, led by Hyun-jin. They immediately issue a nationwide warrant for his arrest. Right then, Hyun-jin receives a GPS ping from Soo-hyun's phone. She instantly speeds to the location. There, she discovers a van packed with children. Soo-hyun calls to inform her that these are the numbered kids, urging her to protect them well. Hyun-jin assures him the kids are safe. She desperately pleads with him to turn himself in and answer for his actions. But Soo-hyun cannot stop. Do Jae-hwan's sins are unforgivable, especially since he is still carrying out his savage atrocities to this day. Hyun-jin promises to help him get justice, but not by taking a life. However, Soo-hyun's mind is made up. Hyun-jin helplessly scans the area, desperately searching for his silhouette, hidden in the shadows. He watches her from afar. He recalls all their beautiful memories together. A hitman like him isn't supposed to have feelings, but facing Hyun-jin, his heart truly wavered. Minutes later, the police arrive and escort the children away. Seeing the clinic locked down by the cops, Philip is incredibly anxious. He leaves a voicemail for Soo-hyun, urging him to return to Vladivostok together. Suddenly, Soo-hyun pulls him into a corner. Seeing him, Philip begs him to drop the Hansel orphanage matter and head back, but he states it's too late for that, warning Philip to stay safe. The police bring the kids to the precinct, feeding them while waiting for child services. Prosecutor Yoon also secures arrest warrants for Director Ju and Chairman Do. As for Soo-hyun, there's still no trace of him. At that time, Philip secures a vehicle for him. Packing his weapons, Soo-hyun drives off. Simultaneously, Hyun-jin and her squad head out to apprehend Chairman Do. Right now, the chairman is plotting his legal escape with the police commissioner. Meanwhile, Director Ju attempts to flee the country. But the moment he gets into his car, Hyun-woo is already waiting. He presses a blade against him, demanding to know why he did it. Trembling, he confesses that Jae-hwan ordered him to wipe out his entire family. Hearing this, Hyun-woo cannot forgive him. He strikes him with the blade, but his hatred remains unquenched. Right after, he loops a wire around his neck, sending him straight to hell. Hyun-woo instantly slips into another car just as the police arrive. They watch helplessly. Discovering Director Ju has already met his end, over on her end, Hyun-jin returns home to her mother. The woman demands to know what is going on, but Hyun-jin promises to explain later. She and her squad march in to confront her adoptive father. Hyun-jin reads him his rights, stating he is suspected of involvement in the illegal biological trade and child abuse. Hyun-jin personally handcuffs the chairman and has him escorted away. In the interrogation room, she plays the audio recording of the chairman ordering Tae-soo to eliminate the nanny in Seo Won-suk. However, Chairman Do denies it's his voice, claiming someone faked it to frame him. The second piece of evidence is his conversation with Soo-hyun. To save his daughter's life, he exploited artificial insemination to create number 88, then plotted to eliminate him. She also brings up Go Hyun-woo exposing this operation. When the secret got out, he ruthlessly destroyed the numbered children to bury the evidence. Hyun-jin reaches her boiling point, recalling his atrocities. Even now, she has no idea how many lives he has ruined. Hearing this, Chairman Do doesn't say a single word. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun meets with Hyun-woo, informing him Do Jae-hwan has been arrested. But Hyun-woo knows full well he'll be released in no time. Just like 19 years ago, the prosecution's investigation is merely a formality. As long as Do Jae-hwan is still breathing, this tragedy will never end. Right then, hearing the police calling out, he tells Soo-hyun to take the back door. He slowly walks out and opens the door, letting the cops take him into custody. But exactly as Hyun-woo predicted, Chairman Do's arrest warrant is quickly revoked. The investigation team is outraged, especially with the evidence already in their hands. Do Jae-hwan walks free. Hearing the news, Soo-hyun recalls the exact words Hyun-woo said before getting arrested. Right then, he calls Philip to find out where the numbered children are. But unexpectedly, while watching the kids play, he is accidentally spotted by the police. Meanwhile, a woman meets with the shelter director, demanding his signature to take the kids for a medical check-up. When he grows suspicious, she hits him with a stun gun, knocking him out cold. The woman returns to her car and is instantly knocked out by Soo-hyun. As the two get into the van, Officer Lee sprints over. Philip shoves him away, allowing Soo-hyun to hit the gas and speed off. Right then, Hyun-jin's car arrives and fiercely gives chase. Checking his rearview mirror, Soo-hyun swerves around a blind corner, losing the cops. By the time the police catch up, they only find the abandoned van and the children. Knowing exactly where Soo-hyun is heading next, Hyun-jin immediately rushes off. On their end, Philip desperately urges Soo-hyun to return to Vladivostok with him, as staying here is far too dangerous. But Soo-hyun is absolutely determined to finish this mission. Armed with his weapon, he storms the mansion, taking down the guards one by one. But facing an army of guards all alone, Soo-hyun takes a round to the shoulder. Philip arrives just in time to back him up. Unfortunately, Tae-soo unloads multiple rounds into him. Philip manages to shove Soo-hyun out of the line of fire. Watching his best friend fall right in front of him, a rage-fueled Soo-hyun rises to continue the fight. They charge at each other, but with their weapons knocked away in the clash, the showdown instantly turns into a brutal hand-to-hand brawl. Despite his injuries, Soo-hyun overpowers Tae-soo with decisive kicks. He quickly pins him to the floor, applying maximum pressure to his neck, sending him straight to his maker. Afterward, Soo-hyun coldly grips his weapon and marches straight inside. The moment he spots Do Jae-hwan, he fires a round, dropping him to the floor. Soo-hyun stands over Jae-hwan, his barrel locked onto him, ready to end the cruel man's reign. A terrified Jae-hwan kneels and begs for his life. He promises that if Soo-hyun spares him, he will acknowledge him as his son and give him anything he desires. Soo-hyun glares at him. He clings so desperately to life, yet so ruthlessly destroyed those children. But the man immediately stands up to justify his actions, claiming those kids were born to be sacrificed. Soo-hyun instantly fires a round into his leg, bringing him to his knees. At this moment, Hyun-jin rushes in, completely stunned by the sheer number of fallen men, including Philip. She runs forward, aiming her weapon at Soo-hyun, demanding he stand down. But he cannot let this go. As long as Do Jae-hwan keeps evading the law, those children will constantly be in mortal danger. Just then, a heavily armed tactical squad swarms in, surrounding Soo-hyun. She continues pleading with him to stop, but Soo-hyun has already chosen this path. There is no turning back. He turns to look at Hyun-jin one last time, then coldly delivers a final round straight to Do Jae-hwan. Instantly, he is taken down by a relentless barrage of police fire. Soo-hyun collapses right in front of Hyun-jin. She lunges to his side, weeping uncontrollably. He only manages to grasp Hyun-jin's hand before closing his eyes forever. Agonized, she holds Soo-hyun and wails in absolute despair, breaking the hearts of everyone present. Meanwhile, Seolgi still sits at home, anxiously waiting for him to return for dinner. Since the day Soo-hyun passed away, Seolgi has lived with her dog Gray, finally leading a peaceful life.